So I wanted to make this video giving you guys my predictions for the upcoming Nintendo Direct, because as of the recording of this video, I honestly don't know when we're going to get this Nintendo Direct announced. Because Nintendo's pretty funny, because Nintendo just decides to tweet whenever they want to of when this Nintendo Direct is going to be coming out. Like, I could be dropping this video right now on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, like 2 minutes later, oh hey, Nintendo Direct is announced tomorrow, and you can watch it around 10 a.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be like 45 minutes long. So it's like, it's always random, like when these Nintendo Directs get announced. So I want to be safe, and I want to just put out this video just letting you guys know ahead of time of games that I would love to see come out of this Nintendo Direct. Because I will say this before we get into my overall thoughts and predictions with this whole entire thing, I don't expect this Nintendo Direct to be like out of this world, like when it comes to like, oh my god, we're going to be getting a new Mario game announced, we're going to be getting a new Zelda game announced, we're going to have Kid Icarus coming back, we're going to have Star Fox coming back. Like, I don't expect a Direct like that where we're going to be having a lot of crazy games like that being announced. But I do see some games that we really care about that we've been waiting years to see that could potentially be a part of this thing, and I just want to give my overall thoughts on my realistic expectations when it comes to things that I could expect out of this, and also a couple little wish list things that I would love to see come out of this as well. So starting off with the big thing, because I want to get this out of the way first, because I could potentially see this being announced at this upcoming Nintendo Direct, or I could potentially see it being announced around the time when the Nintendo Switch 2 gets shown off, because I can easily see this being one of the showcase titles when it comes to the Switch 2, showing off how strong the console is and just being one of those launch games overall. And that game is Metroid Prime 4, because we honestly don't know when this game is coming out. So it's a huge mystery in itself of whenever we're going to be getting Metroid Prime 4 game announced. But if you guys recall, like during the early stages of the Nintendo Switch's lifespan, it was announced that Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the console. But then later on, it was confirmed that they're going to restart development. So it's been quite some time since we got any sort of update on that. So if this Direct wants to end off like the last year of the Switch with a bang, I can definitely see Metroid Prime 4 being the game that they put out there to sell during the holidays. So that can definitely be like their big game to sell around the holidays. And the reason why I said before that I could potentially see this also being announced on the Switch 2 is also because, let's say Nintendo doesn't want to put like a lot of crazy games coming out for the last year of the Switch. You could easily see this being showcased to be a part of the Switch 2's lineup, just in case they wanted to wait for that exact time when the Switch 2 officially gets shown off, and then we get all these different games announced. Like obviously at that event, whenever we know about it, the new 3D Mario games more than likely going to be shown off. So they could easily showcase like Metroid Prime 4 there as well. So they could be like, okay guys, you waited forever for this game, here it is. So I can definitely see something like that, because we haven't seen any screenshots from Metroid Prime 4. We haven't seen any gameplay from Metroid Prime 4. The only thing that we know exists when it comes to this is the Metroid Prime 4 logo. We don't know anything else beyond that. So again, Nintendo could potentially showcase that game in this Direct, and then we could see it as their big seller during the holiday season. That is something I can definitely see. The next thing that I could potentially see here, and I'm going to put potentially in quotations because I'm not 100% confident of us seeing this here, because this is more of a thing that it could be part of a different presentation in itself, would have to be Pokemon Legends ZA, because Pokemon Legends ZA was shown off during the Pokemon Presents earlier in the year, when we have our typical Pokemon Presents during February every year when it comes to Pokemon Day. And we could potentially see it showcased here, because the only thing we've seen is the trailer. We haven't seen any gameplay, so we don't know what the game looks like. So it could potentially be shown off here. But at the same time, I don't know if they will, because Pokemon kind of likes having their own thing where they like being in the driver's seat. They like having their hands on the wheel, and they like calling the shots when it comes to like, okay, we're gonna wait until our next Pokemon Presents where we could show more of this game. So maybe that's something that we could see later on when it comes to the next Pokemon Presents, because when it comes to the Pokemon Presents, I could definitely see this being shown off more than it being shown off at this June Nintendo Direct. Yet again, you know, we've seen stuff from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when it came to the DLC, because I recall last year when we initially had that Nintendo Direct, I believe it was like September of that year, we actually did see the DLC shown off there. So they very well could showcase it in the Nintendo Direct. But at the same time, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to say we're probably going to wait until the Pokemon Presents to see any other information on this. And I also wouldn't be surprised as well if they want to wait until the Switch 2 is shown off as well, because maybe there's things on the Switch 2 that they want to showcase with this game to show exactly how this game is going to look once we officially see the gameplay of this. And I mentioned several times within my video I was going to make a video talking about this, but at the same time I'm kind of thinking, should I just honestly mention it in this video? And now that I'm thinking about it as I'm talking, I might as well just talk about it here. What the hell is going on with Donkey Kong? Like, we don't really know what's going on with the Donkey Kong franchise. We haven't had a new game when it comes to Donkey Kong for quite some time. Like, I believe the last Donkey Kong game, like when it comes to a standalone Donkey Kong game, I'm not talking about Mario versus Donkey Kong or any other spin-offs that came out around that time recently. I'm talking about like a standalone Donkey Kong game. The only game that we've gotten recently when it comes to that is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. So it's been quite some time since we've seen a new Donkey Kong game come out, and I would absolutely love to see like a new 3D Donkey Kong game or a 2D Donkey Kong game, because I know it's been rumored for quite some time that a 2D Donkey Kong game could potentially be coming out. So I would absolutely love to see something like that, because when it comes to Donkey Kong, anything at this point I would love to see, because I really want to see our boy come back and have another game, because I love Donkey Kong. Those are really fun games. The next thing that I could potentially see, and I'm not super knowledgeable when it comes to this franchise, I just want to put it out there. I want to be truthful with you guys. I want to be honest. I'm not super knowledgeable on this franchise, but I know it's been rumored for quite some time. But I could potentially see a Fire Emblem remake being announced in this direct as well, because there's been rumors of a new Fire Emblem game coming out for quite some time. And one of those rumors happened to mention that it was going to be a remake of one of the franchise's older titles. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Nintendo wanted to include that here in this Nintendo Direct. So fans of the Fire Emblem franchise would honestly probably love that if they can go back and replay one of those older games that they had a lot of fun with, but now they can see like a more modern version of it. So that would be pretty cool if that happens. But I do know for sure that I eventually need to check out Fire Emblem, because I know it's a fun franchise. I have a lot of friends that play it. So I definitely feel like down the road, I definitely need to take some time to check out the franchise as well. The next thing I would love to see as well is another Mario sports game, because I love the Mario sports games. They're fun. And it's been quite some time since we've seen a Mario baseball game, because it's been around, I believe, 16 years or so since we've seen like a new Mario sports game shown off. So it would be pretty cool. Maybe we get a port of like a remastered version of like the classic Mario baseball game, or we get a new Mario baseball game overall. That would actually be pretty cool. So I want to throw that in there as well. A couple other things to mention as well: Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I would love to see like some ports of those games as well, because we already have Metroid Prime ported to the Nintendo Switch. So I feel like it only makes sense if you do like a Metroid Prime 2 and a Metroid Prime 3, so you can include that, so you could have a trilogy of that, and you could also build up the anticipation, so you could have people that aren't familiar with the Metroid Prime series, they can go through the first, second, and third game. They could prepare themselves for Metroid Prime 4 whenever that game gets shown off. Another thing to throw in here, because I don't expect us to see any new Zelda games coming off, especially when it comes to a mainline Zelda game. I don't expect us to see anything like that for quite some time until that Zelda game is officially shown off once the Switch 2 kicks off, maybe in like the next year or two or so. But I would definitely expect us to see The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, because it's been rumored for quite some time, and I feel like if you want to give the Zelda fans a little something to munch on for a little bit, I feel like you could give them that. I mean, at the very least, I could see something like that coming out of the Zelda series. I don't expect anything big coming out of Zelda. Same thing with Mario. I don't really expect anything big coming out of that. But overall, those are my predictions when it comes to the games that I expect to be at this Nintendo Direct. So I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Like, how do you guys feel about what I mentioned? Do you guys agree with what I said that could potentially come out of this? Or do you guys have any thoughts on your own? Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And also, if you guys enjoyed the video today, be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. And also be sure to check out my social media when it comes to my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok. All of that is located in the description below. Make sure to click on the bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I upload a new video on the channel. But other than that, I hope all you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's a daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.